Hi everyone, welcome back to Sympathy for the Sequel. In this series, what we do is we look at major horror franchises and we look at the worst entry in said franchise according to Rotten Tomatoes. Now in today's episode, to paraphrase one of the stars of this film, I haven't seen the film, but I did see the house that it bought. Well, I haven't seen Sir Michael Caine's house, but I have seen Jaws: The Revenge. Now, Jaws: The Revenge is part of a very, very special club. It has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's truly a miracle when these happen. So let's look at a couple of the reviews that got it there. Sheila Benson of the Los Angeles Times writes, "Dumb beyond belief, hollow, bloody, and nonsensical, it's Universal Studios' vanity movie, a way of providing employment yet again for its great white icon." Jay Boyer of the Orlando Sentinel writes, "A lot of the time, the people in this picture just stand around looking very sad, as if remembering happier days. Watching this sorry film, you know how they must feel." So, the Jaws franchise had a few films under its belt already, and during this period in the mid-late 80s, Universal Studios was under a lot of financial duress. They had a lot of really major failures, and they were looking for something to really bring back the box office. And what do studios do when they need big box office hits? Well, they look back to some of their most iconic IP. And what better time to resurrect the iconic shark from Steven Spielberg's groundbreaking original film. Jaws already had a few sequels, and those really tended to focus on the monstrousness of Jaws. And with Jaws: The Revenge, what they wanted to do was get back to the human story, which they felt really set apart the original. There was a lot of production trouble with the shoots and the reshoots going on, and it feels really, really present within this narrative. Jaws: The Revenge follows Ellen Brody, the widow of Martin Brody, the protagonist from the first couple of films. Now, in the opening of this film, we witness the death of one of her adult sons, Sean, at the hands of Jaws after he is sent out to clear some debris from the shoreline because he is a police officer. Now, her other son, Michael, comes to her rescue and says, "Mom, let's get out of here. Let's blow this popsicle stand and go to the Bahamas with me and my family," where he is working on his PhD. So Ellen goes with him and begins to have a kind of eat, pray, love how Ellen Brody got her groove back moment. She really begins to bond with her granddaughter. She makes some new friends along the way, most notably Hoagie, the aforementioned Sir Michael Caine, who plays her kind of vaguely scuzzy love interest, who is also the worst pilot in history and seems to be the only way on or off this island in the Bahamas.
What are you doing?
You better take the wheel or we'll be swimming in 5 minutes. Oh, take it easy, take it easy. Hold her gently, she damn near fly herself.
It is truly terrifying, some of the risks he takes, and he is the true danger of this film. Now, before we get too into this, woman of a certain age finding her purpose and rediscovering her love for life, it's important to mention she seems to have a psychic connection to the shark. She is convinced it is terrorizing her family after having killed her son Sean and then previously been part of the death of her husband.
Get down from there!
Mommy, that's me!
No, it's too dangerous. Don't do that!
Grandma, watch me!
She's really, really paranoid about the water and her family going into the water, and she's trying to push it to the side, but she just can't do it. And of course, everyone's telling her she's wrong, it's time to move on with her life, but because it's a Jaws movie, we know the psychic connection is really real, and that she was right the whole time, and bing, bang, boom, everything's great and happy. Because essentially what this film boils down to is a figure like the coastal grandmother on a vengeance rampage against an endangered species.
When it killed Sean, I knew with absolute certainty it had come for him. I knew that. I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
So if that all sounds like a lot of plot, it is. It's a lot. It's a lot in 90 minutes. And somehow this 90-minute film kind of feels like 5 hours because each character has their own weird subplot and quirk and thing that they have to do. And none of it really adds up to a cohesive narrative. In the original film of Jaws, it not only combines a terrifying monster, human drama, a town on the cusp of change, but all of those narratives drive together. In this one, we have a bunch of different narratives that are all going in completely separate directions. For instance, Ellen's daughter-in-law in this film is a sculptor.
She calls it tourist on the loose.
Fine, but she has also been commissioned to do a sculpture for the beach that they frequent. And this sculpture is terrifying. It is all pointy angles. Someone is going to gore themselves on it because it's just placed in the middle of the beach, and it's bright red. And it is in fact so dangerous looking. I actually thought it was going to come into play in the final climax of this film, but nope, it doesn't. It's not Chekhov's sculpture. It's just a sculpture on a beach that someone will lose their life to. For a film about sharks, you would think I would learn a lot about sharks. I don't. I learn a lot about snails.
Gotta separate the ladies from the gentlemen first.
Oh man, don't do that. You move too slow. You got two speeds, slower and slower, and you're moving it damn slow, you're gonna grow roots.
Hold your water, Jake. Guess what? The females have eggs.
I don't need to know a lot about snails, but Michael, the son that's still alive, that's part of his whole PhD. So they spend a lot of time talking about snails. Some might say too much time, but not this film apparently. Just other people who might be watching it for a project, I don't know. But a lot of this film is really focused on Ellen and Hoagie, and I kind of like that. I think it's nice to see people of a certain age falling in love, figuring out a new path forward in their lives. It's interesting, and you don't really see it a lot. It's, kind of a fun, if inexplicable relationship, but, I'm here for it. However, again, it feels very tonally out of step with the rest of the film. It's this love story that is seemingly blooming in front of us as this woman is dealing with grief, some, post-traumatic stress, and again, this psychic connection to a shark. Speaking of the shark, how smart is the shark? What are the shark's abilities? I don't know. I know a shit ton about snails. I don't know what the shark can do. And like at the beginning of the film, when Sean the son is called out to, clear the debris, did Jaws set that up? Because Jaws kills him there. So how smart is Jaws? What is the long game here? And then we're also supposed to believe that Jaws went from the east coast of the States all the way down to the Bahamas just to get after this family? This boring, bad sculpture-making family?
I guess that's bad, huh?
Depends on your point of view.
But now let's talk about a few good things. A few good things that I could never ever take away from this film. Now, as I just mentioned, Sean is the son who dies at the beginning of the film, and while it's sad that Jaws eats him, I would say it's the other son, Michael, that is a real snack. I don't love to objectify people in film, it's not, I try not to, but I enjoyed Michael Brody. Running around, talking about snails. Not bad to look at. Sometimes you just mute the film and just watch him run around.
Yo, just take it easy, will you?
there's a point in your life where you're doing something for a job and it's, part of, your larger career and maybe your brand, and you're going along and you're watching this 90-minute movie that feels like 16 hours one night, and you kind of start to question all of the choices in your life that brought you to that moment. How did I get here? Why am I here? Are people judging me? Are people watching this? Oh my God, what has happened to me? Where am I? And then the ending of Jaws: The Revenge happens when the shark inexplicably explodes while roaring. And that kind of makes up for it. Suddenly, all those dark thoughts just go away, and you realize that everything in my life has led me to this moment of watching sharks explode, and it all kind of feels okay again. I'm not saying you, dear viewer, should go out and watch Jaws: The Revenge, the 20-hour movie that somehow fits into 90 minutes, but I am saying I'm really glad the shark exploding exists. So that's been another episode of Sympathy for the Sequel. I've been Alex West, and thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what we should do next in terms of franchise. And until the next time your grandma gets this really faraway look in her eyes and she seems real angry about something on the endangered species list, we'll see you in the sequel.
Man's deepest fear has risen again. Jaws: The Revenge. This time, it's personal.
Are you gonna burp? Am I gonna burp? No. Hey.
I'll hear it.
No, you're not. Is it like yawning? No, I have to burp. Nope. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's a little one. There's a little